up, guys? We are MMA UK News, Stoomboy, as always, MMA UK BJJ show. So before we go into the conversation, just a quick word on my sponsor. So Simplified Debt are a company that helps people who are maybe struggling financially with any kind of financial debts, council tax and all that kind of stuff. So they do offer a free, friendly, confidential service, and their details across the bottom of the screen, their number and website. And if you do contact them, either quote the MMA UK BJJ show or the Scottish MMA Awards. Now, we're going to be talking about Goliath Fight Series 4. Goliath Fight Series 4 split over two parts. So we've got Grapple by day, Fight by night. So we've got the grappling show starting about 11 o'clock. First fight's at 11 o'clock. Doors open at 10:30. Now, that's going to be at Alloa Town Hall this Saturday. Now, anybody looking for tickets for the grappling event, the tickets are on the door. So just turn up and you will be able to get tickets for that. It moves on to the MMA. The MMA, the doors open, I believe, about 4:30. First fight is about 5 o'clock. And this is a ticketed event, so the only place you can get tickets is directly from your chosen fighter. If they don't have any left, then just hit up Goliath Fight Series Instagram page and you will get all the ticket details through there. Now, it's already promised to be an unbelievable event. I mean, it's going to be a long, long day. Grappling all day and all day. And then obviously the MMA, K1 and so on at night time. Now, my next guest then is going to be making his amateur debut on the night. So Dan McAleer of The Griphouse. Now, he's going to be up against a changed opponent. So obviously he did have an original opponent, but the opponent got changed a few days ago. So he's going to be up against Hybrid MMA's Tyler Vance. Now, awesome matchup. I mean, I get to obviously hear a lot of stories about Dan at the gym. Obviously, I'm training up there doing MMA as well now. So I do get to hear about some of the fighters that are in camp and they're getting ready to fight. So Dan is awesome. We're going to see some good stuff on Saturday from Dan. But Dan, listen, absolute pleasure, brother. Thanks for taking the time to speak to me.
Thank you for having me.
Yeah, listen, absolute pleasure. I remember speaking to you in the gym and you were like absolutely buzzing for this fight. It was the original opponent. So obviously when you had the first opponent and you were buzzing for it, but even now, even a changed opponent, I mean, we were talking about this beforehand. I mean, it makes no difference who's standing in front of you. The goal's exactly the same.
Yeah. I mean, it just takes a bit. It was a bit of a weird week last week trying to deal with the change of opponent. Yeah. Felt a bit deflating when I heard it was cancelled. Luckily, we got someone to step in. Yeah. And if he's confident enough to take it on short notice, I'm expecting someone pretty good.
Yeah.
Nothing really changes.
Well, it's fair play to guys that do that. I mean, guys that step in on a few days' notice, a week's notice, and stuff like that. Do you know what I mean? As I say, they definitely save the show, because especially you coming in and doing your debut. I mean, you're buzzing. The fight's in place. You're ready to go, and then a week out they say, "Oh, by the way, the opponent's pulled out. We don't have an opponent." Yeah. So mentally, that must be horrible for you, because I know how hard you guys train at the Grip. So you've put yourself through an extensive training camp to get to this point, and then suddenly it's almost pulled away from you.
Yeah, pretty much exactly right, like how you said. To be honest, the hardest bit when I heard it was cancelled was not just immediately going and eating as much junk food as I could find. So that was a struggle, but luckily I kept that day I was eating healthy still, and I heard I got a new opponent immediately after.
Yeah. That's one thing about Goliath, not just Goliath, but other promotions as well. I mean, if a fighter pulls out, especially if it's like maybe a week's notice or something, they always usually try to get someone in. Do you know what I mean? A little bit different if it's maybe a day or two's notice, then it might be a little bit more of a struggle. But they done well. They managed to get an opponent, and obviously saved the matchup for you. So we're definitely going to see that that amateur debut on Saturday.
Yeah, I mean, it seems like a really well-run show. I've watched a few of the streams online, watched my guys compete. Excited to be on it.
Yeah. It's going to be good as well. You get a lot of free stuff as well. Free sliders, free t-shirts, so a lot of free stuff. So you're going to come home with a bag of swag as well as a W.
Yeah, a cheeky like eBay spending spree, selling spree. Sorry.
Definitely. What about training then? So I know that, as I said, obviously, do you know what I mean, I've been up to the grip obviously quite a few times now, training in the MMA class with Jazz and Jeff. So, and again, that just being the fundamentals, but obviously that's still quite tough as a beginner to MMA coming in. So, and obviously the competition class is 10 times more kind of frantic or 10 times harder than the fundamentals. I mean, how's training going for you just now?
It's been actually really good this past few months. I feel like I've came on leaps and bounds. But as you say, like I started for the fundamentals, and that's not an easy class.
Yes. Yeah.
But I think it's really well designed at the grip to progress you in a way that gives you the skills required to hang in there in the team.
Yeah. So really good base as you've got Jazz and you've got Jeff obviously doing Jazz doing the Tuesday class and Jeff doing the Thursday class, and do you know what I mean? It's a really good bunch of guys that are in there at the moment as well, and we all have the bit of banter, especially when we're rolling. No, it's sparring at the end. We'll maybe be in a position, and do you know what I mean? We'll be talking to each other, saying, "Oh, do this, do that," or do you know what I mean? Just having a bit of back and forth, and that's the same in the competition class. I mean, you guys, even though you're training hard, you're having fun at the same time. You're enjoying yourself.
Yeah, it's a really good group to train with, and not only do they push you physically and mentally, but they'll give you tips and things after each class and help you along.
Yeah. No, listen, I'm buzzing to see you on Saturday. So, how did you find out then about the original match? How did you find out that you were going to be on Goliath Fight Series?
So, Dean actually came up to me after a class one day and said if I'd be interested in being on it. And then I just said, yeah, definitely, eventually. Yeah. And we found out it was Judah Millen originally, but we couldn't find any tape on him. I was pretty sure he'd be a good matchup because I'd seen his brother fight quite a bit.
Yeah.
An idea for the sort of skill set they'd had.
Yeah. Because I remember when we were talking at the gym and you were saying, it was Judah Millen. And obviously we know Seth. Seth obviously is out there doing his thing. Very, very tough fighter. Judah, exactly the same. Very, very tough guy. Good bottom and top game. So a good ground game as well as a good, decent stand-up game as well. So it was going to be a great matchup. It was going to be a great matchup, the original match. Hopefully, maybe some point down the line that we might see that at some point. So, but then obviously Tyler coming in, again, hybrid MMA, good pedigree of Jim coming out of Northern Ireland. So again, he's going to be again another tough opponent. But I mean, that's the kind of things you guys at the grip love, having a tough opponent. So
he represents more of an unknown than Judah, I would say, like in terms of what I'm planning wise. But as I said earlier, anyone confident enough to take fight on short notice is probably pretty good. I'm expecting a really tough challenge. I'm looking forward to it.
Nah, it's going to be good. It's going to be great. So, what about nerves? I mean, how do you deal with nerves? Because nerves is a big thing. MMA, not just MMA, but any kind of combat sports. But how do you tend to deal with nerves in the lead up to anything that you've done, maybe in the past or even in this camp?
Well, for this one, I've actually not felt too bad until the week of. Starting to feel it's a bit more real as I get closer and closer. But for me, it's my first fight. It's complete unknown until I step in there. Yeah. So while I want to do well, I'm treating it as an experience at the same time.
Yeah.
See how it goes. I'm a relatively calm person that way anyway, so it's not been too hard.
Nice. That's the thing. I mean, obviously, fight week especially. I mean, there's a lot of things you're having to deal with. Do you know what I mean? Is my game the way it should be? Do you know what I mean? My technique is my technique there. Then you're having to worry about weight cuts and all that kind of stuff. So there's a lot of things going on in the week of a fight, which is going to play on your mind. So it's understandable that there's going to be some kind of, I wouldn't say anxiety, but some kind of thoughts going through your head, which is perfectly normal. I mean, you wouldn't be normal if you didn't have any kind of nerves at all.
To be honest, like the actual fighting part of it is at this point something I'm not too nervous about. Yeah, the crowd's a bit of a unknown factor more than what it feels like to fight someone.
Yeah.
and it'd be some of my own size this time instead of likes of Ellis and Jas and Stevie at the grip.
Yeah. That's a few big guys at the grip house. So a few really big guys. So what's next for you then? So obviously again, this Saturday is obviously your main focus. But what would you like to see yourself doing going forward for the rest of the year?
We'll see how this Saturday goes in terms of MMA. I still don't know if I'm actually going to enjoy competing until I do it.
Yeah.
But I would say for sure I'll be trying to get into a few more grappling industries competitions. Regardless, it's been a fun one to.
Yeah. So we're going to see it, some of them, man. That'll be awesome. I mean, as they will see the boys out there, obviously Ellis and so on, out there doing grappling comps. Obviously, more recently ADCC Scotland and so on. So I always love seeing you guys out there because again, I know the level of grappling that comes out the grip house. Do you know what I mean? Grip house for years has been one of the top gyms in regards to jiu-jitsu, MMA, kickboxing and so on for years. So they're definitely the flagship gym when you think about gyms in Scotland. So it'll be good to see you out there doing a lot more grappling comps as well.
It's cool to be able to represent them because they are such a big name in Scotland.
Yeah. Very iconic, very, very iconic gym. So that patch, whenever you see that patch, that grip house patch, do you know what I mean? So you always know you're in for a hard time, man, regardless of what it is you step in to do. So never going to be an easy fight. And then final thing then, Dan. So again, you've been in the game for a little while. Obviously, again, we talked about some of the training partners you've got, some amazing people. So, but anybody in particular you want to shout out to? So any kind of friends, family members, teammates, anything like that?
The main two I'd like to shout out would be Jas and Jeff, who run the fundamentals and have helped me progress since day one.
Yeah. Two awesome guys, man. Two awesome guys.
Yeah.
Two really, really good technical guys as well. I mean, I've noticed that when I go in to both classes, regardless if it's Jas or Jeff, do you know what I mean? And like even when they're explaining a technique, when they're explaining stuff, they're breaking it down into different parts, which is the sign of a really, really good coach, because it's easy for me to say, right, Dan, let me show you a move and then just show you the move, but then don't show you how many points it takes to get to that position.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? So they break the position down very, very well, which is brilliant, which is really, really good, especially from a beginner point of view. So I remember when I came in, Jeff said to me, Stoom, why are you in this class? Because obviously I'm a jiu-jitsu guy, right? But he's like, why are you in this class? Why you not just go straight in the competition class? And I was like, well, because when it comes to MMA, I'm a beginner. Right, I'm a beginner. I say that. Don't get me wrong. I've got some grappling experience, but in regards to MMA, I'm a complete novice. Right, so I can throw a punch, I can take a punch, kicks and stuff like that. But to be able to throw it in a sequence, do you know what I mean? So, which is something that I'm going to learn. So. But as you said, Jeff and Jas, I mean, do absolutely brilliant things with the fundamental class, and it takes the guys from the fundamental class right into the competition class. So by the time you get to the competition class, you're absolutely ready to go and take on these bigger guys. So
you can even still, as someone who's progressed already, showing up to the fundamentals has a lot of value.
Yeah,
I've been doing PTs with both of them, Jeff for my striking and Jas for my strength and conditioning, and I've noticed such big improvements from working with them. So
yeah. Listen, I'll see you guys in that comp class at one point. All right, so it'll be good to get in, man, and obviously get in with the Blazing Squad. Do you know what I mean? So come in with the Blazing Squad and have some fun. The world famous Blazing Squad. So, anybody else you want to shout out to at all, Dan?
No, just my team in general, to be honest. Like, there's too many names to count that have helped me along the way.
Yeah.
Appreciate them all for that.
Definitely. Guys, listen, if you're want MMA and you're in Glasgow, definitely hit up the Grip House. As I said,
for sure.
We talked about obviously how good the level is there. Even the fundamentals. I mean, you go into the fundamentals, and some of these guys have maybe only been doing it a few weeks, but I mean, their already ground stuff is really good. Their striking's on point for where they are, for the level they're at. So it's definitely a great place to be. And as I said, it's fun. Do you know what I mean? Like, I never thought getting punched in the face would be so fun, right? But yeah, it's enjoyable, man. It's definitely enjoyable. So, so guys, there we go. Then we've got Dan McAleer, the Griphouse, going to be up against Tyler Vance, Hybrid MMA. Now that's going to be this Saturday, the 24th of June. Now, ticket availability, as I mentioned, for the grappling, tickets are available on the door. Doors open at 10:30. First fight's at 11 o'clock. Grappling finishes about 3:30, so everybody gets cleared out, and then at 4:30 the doors open for the MMA and K1 K1 matchups. Now that part of the show is a ticketed event, so hit up your chosen fighters. Make sure if they've got any tickets available. So anybody want to go and see Dan, make sure you speak to Dan, get tickets directly from Dan. If you can't get any tickets from your chosen fighter, then as I said, hit up Goliath Fight Series Instagram page, and you will get all the ticket information through there. There's also pay-per-view on this as well, guys. Now, the pay-per-view links have been posted. It is a QR code, right? Because obviously the amount of fraudsters that go about putting up links all over fucking social media is an absolute joke. So it's going to be a QR code. So Harris has already posted the QR code. I know that some of the fighters have already reposted the QR code. It's also on my page as well. So make sure if you want the pay-per-view, head over to that. If you can't be in attendance, definitely get the pay-per-view, because remember, the money that comes in goes back into the show. It pays the fighters. The fighters get commission on tickets. And as I said, it helps bring in talent from other places, other different countries. And it only makes it better for Scottish MMA because, I mean, there's not many shows kicking about now. So obviously we have to support the shows that do come up. So definitely either get tickets or pay-per-view, and we'll see you all Saturday. But Dan, listen, absolute pleasure, brother. Thank you very much for taking the time to speak to me.
Yeah, absolute pleasure as well. Thanks for having me on. Appreciate it.
Enjoy the next couple of days, brother, and I'll see you Saturday, all right?
See you Saturday. Good man.
Take care, buddy.